Drop Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Football Drop Podcast.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. How's it going?
I'm very good. Yesterday, I had probably the best compliment of my entire life.
Yeah, okay. Wow, it took this... Honestly, how long have you been waiting to talk about this?
Well, when you started talking about it, I was like, okay, just be quiet, Ben. Play it cool. Don't give off the vibe that you've got something up your sleeve. Just play it cool.
Okay, well, all right, okay, I'm ready. Go on.
Look, I'll be honest, and I didn't want to tell you this yesterday. I didn't hear it straight away. I only knew because you told me, which made it 100 times better. So, do you want to explain to everybody exactly what happened? Because you heard it firsthand, whereas I heard it from you.
No, I want you to talk about it.
Okay. So, because, we're in our 30s and we're pretty mature, we're dads, and, we're respectable members of society, generally. We like to make mum jokes quite a lot because we're sad and pathetic.
Yeah.
Now, we do the classic, whatever the insult is, but your mum. Mm-hmm. Always happens. Always happens. Now, the funny thing is, obviously, we both have met each other's mums, and they're lovely people, aren't they? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether your mum just jokes about or just thought it'd be funny to wind you up. But yesterday, your mum called me a cutie.
Well, no. Let's be clear. My mum did not call you a cutie.
She did. Basically, she did.
I love how this is flipped. So,
this is what I said you need to explain.
There's one.
I'm just going to twist it.
Yeah. There's one key element that's missing from that story. Who was in your arms at the time?
You.
I wish.
No, I had Maisie with me.
Yeah. So do you think she was talking to you or Maisie?
Well, obviously me.
I'm still not sure. That's why I asked the question.
No, obviously it was Maisie. But the hilarious thing was, I didn't really hear it. And I was like, oh, hello. Obviously, getting Maisie to wave at everyone as they came in. Then I went out into the kitchen and you went, well, I've just called you a cutie. And I was like, did she? Oh, yeah. And instantly my head ran away with, this is going to be fucking brilliant for the podcast. Nothing else mattered apart from, this is going to be a great story of the podcast.
Yeah, I can well imagine, mate. I can well imagine.
Christine, if you are listening, thank you very much. You're a cutie too.
She doesn't listen. She won't listen.
Oh, we'll have to send this clip. But yesterday was a fantastic day for you personally.
It's been a banging weekend, to be fair. Like since Friday, it's been one of the best weekends I've had. I'm not going to lie.
What have you been up to? Tell us all.
Okay, so Friday afternoon we went for a gender reveal scan rather than a gender reveal on the podcast, which is what we do every week because we're funny and pathetic.
Kind of loops back to that mid-30s, mature.
All that sort of shit. So I had that, which was great, and we'll come on to that. But everything is all good, all okay, all healthy, all looking great. So we're ready for this person that's incoming. And then I played Footy Friday, Man v Fat 11s, which I haven't played proper 11s. Like it was a friendly, but like I've only played a couple of charity games 11s.
Right.
So this was a proper 11s game for me that I've not played for since mid-20s, and I banged in an absolute beauty. And I've probably built it up to be probably bigger than it actually was. But I managed to get away from the defender. I managed to do a little turn, got away from the defender again. I managed to hit it and get it in the net. The keeper probably could have done better, if I'm being completely honest, but I was just outside the box. Nice little distance goal. So I was happy with that.
Nice.
We lost the game 2-1, but considering the opponents were, significantly better than the team that we had, I feel like it was a pretty decent result for us actually as a whole team. So that was good.
Nice. Well done on the goal, by the way.
Thank you. Saturday I was in a lot of pain from football. I'm not going to lie. I think I played. The thing was, because it was kind of a friendly, it was like rolling subs.
Okay.
I came off after about an hour. So I had an hour of running around. And then I came back on with like 10 minutes to go. Mate,
that's a lot of running.
Dad, I was knackered, mate, literally. And when I'm on the pitch, I don't like to stop running. I like to keep going because when I stop, that's it. I'm stopping.
Yeah, you're known. You just constantly run everywhere. Good movement, good running.
I think I do.
You are.
The infuriating thing is, right? I'll be running and I'm like moving, and then you just sort of like look up, do that. Oh, there's no movement, and I'm like, fucking hell! I've just moved, but now for the defenders followed me, and I can't be asked anymore because you've still got hold of the ball, and it's been about 20 seconds. Why haven't you let go?
20 seconds.
You're only allowed to hold it for 6.
Is that a rule? You're only allowed it for 6?
No, it's 8 seconds. I think it's changing to in like proper football.
Oh, I thought you meant for ours. I was like,
no.
Didn't know that.
No. Ben will be like, actually, yes, it is the rule, Ben. And then, so Saturday we went and looked around the wedding venue that we're thinking of booking. Not sure yet, but yeah, thinking about that one.
Nice.
And then I had the honour of attending an award ceremony with you and Big Sass, AC,
yes.
Ali Campbell, which was an enjoyable evening. So thank you very much for that.
You was actually nominated for an award as well, wasn't you?
Yeah, along with you, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a bit of a token one because we know exactly who won.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they said
8 out of 10 of us
biggest
voted
landslide.
for it. Yeah. So, big shout out for that one to Ali Campbell, Player of the Year for Atletico Madrid. Properly deserves it, doesn't he?
Oh, mate, the weight loss that he has had has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he's done so well. Like, it's so well. Generally,
yes.
I'm buzzed. Every time I see him, I generally just like, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he looks healthy. He feels healthy. It's all good for him. So, yeah, well done, Big AC. And we're doing all right. I got my 15% last week, which I was absolutely buzzing with. So, we're getting there, mate. We're getting there. Weight loss is going okay, isn't it?
For you, yeah. For me,
it's going okay for you.
I've had a pretty shit couple of months. I feel like I'm turning a corner a bit now. I had a bit of a wobble last week. Was in a bit of a low place, but I think I'm turning a corner now. I'm about 1 kilo down as of this morning, so I'm kind of back on that. I think now.
But you say
get that kicking off and going.
You say like you're not doing well. When you look at that email that you get, because you get when you join Man v Fat every week, you get an email on the updates, and within that email it tells you how much weight you've lost since you've started. Yeah, you've lost weight.
Yeah, I've lost about 18 kilos,
mate.
I know, but you know what I'm like. I want to lose every week, and I can't. And I've struggled. I've had lots going on, but yeah, I get annoyed at myself because I want to do as well as I possibly can. And when I let myself down, and like last week, I was fuming because I did everything I possibly could, and somehow put on nearly 1 kilo. I was like, I don't understand this. I've had a good week. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
but it is what it is. So yeah, we get there with it.
You've done well, mate.
And then, so your Sunday, you had what did you do Sunday?
So yeah, Sunday we had the gender reveal party. I mean, we already knew, so it was more for everybody else, but mainly really for the kids to do the canon and find out whether they're having a brother or sister for them. So it was really important. We felt for them to be really involved in that. So we did that, and we're having a little boy.
Congratulations, mate. Buzzing for you.
Thank you. Another little gooner. So somebody
Another
said to me,
gooner.
somebody said to me, a sales friend said to me, like, what are you going to do if they don't support Arsenal? And I think somebody said, what if they support Tottenham? And I said, it just can't happen.
It won't happen.
It can't happen. I've got my little sister's son. I'm on to him next about becoming an Arsenal supporter. Like that's my next thing. And then after that, he'll be
a rugby boy though, won't he? And that's okay because his dad's a big rugby man. But as long as he doesn't support Tottenham,
no, he'll support Arsenal. I've got my niece and nephew supporting Arsenal from my older sister's side. So from my younger sister's side, my nephew will be an Arsenal supporter. You heard it here first.
Fair enough. I like it.
Yeah. So
I like it.
Yeah, happy about that. Mainly happy that everything's okay and everything's good moving forward. So, how was your weekend, mate?
Fucking fantastic. Friday, met one of our absolute heroes, didn't we?
Yes, you did, yeah.
So, let's just have a bit of context. So, I had Friday off. I was going to a gig called a band called You Me at 6, one of my favourites ever, with Lewis from Merseyside Up. So, big shout out to you guys. Went to F1 Arcade. Obviously, had a couple of races there, which was nice. Had some food. Went up to the gig. But early that morning, you rang me at 10 o'clock, I think it was, 9:30. Because obviously we have to talk every day, otherwise we cry and get really upset and depressed. Yeah. So we have to see or speak to each other every day. And said, Romesh is going to the You Me at 6 gig.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right. Oh, if you meet him, can you imagine? I was like, mate, the venue's like 12,500 at Wembley Arena. What's the chances you're going to bump into him? He's obviously going to have a private box or something, I'd imagine, or at least seats to the side or something. So he'll have almost private access to some degree, I would have imagined. And the chances of bumping into him, so he's in the gig at that time in that place, it's almost impossible, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I met him. I met the Owl from the Wolf and Owl podcast. And I'll tell you what a lovely, lovely guy. I know he doesn't really like people asking for photos and things like that, but I had a bit of a chat with him for a minute or two and I had to ask for a photo. And I think I played it quite nicely. I didn't want to be disrespectful because he was with Swan, with his lovely wife, Lisa, as well. So it was one of those, you don't want to miss that opportunity because, we absolutely love him on this pod, don't we? And
yeah.
Him and Tom, I think that we both just absolutely love them.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just one of those we had to. Obviously, we've got tickets to see them now as well in October.
Yes. I need to pay you for that,
live.
I said I'll transfer it over straight away. I still haven't. I'm so sorry.
No, of course you haven't. That's fine. Bumped into Romesh on Friday and honestly, my mind was blown. So I had a couple of pictures of him, sent it to you. What felt like I was still talking to Rob and sent them to you. I was that excited. I had obviously walked away, but I feel like I was mid-conversation. I was like, hang on, Will needs to see this now. I sent them to you, gave you a call, and you called me a few names. You was very excited for me at the same time, mate, bless you.
Oh, it was so weird because I was so jealous, but so happy for you, but really jealous. And really upset and really angry, but also oh my God, at least one of us has met him, but really pissed off that it wasn't me. So it was a weird feeling.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah, I was so happy that I didn't even care about the gig at that point. I forgot Romesh. But You Me at 6 were incredible. It was a lovely day. It was fantastic. Long day though. Didn't get back till about 2:30 in the morning, which was rough. And then Saturday had my little monster, a little Maisie meal all day.
Yeah.
And then also we had our Man v Fat Awards, which was nice. Nice chilled evening, a few beers, some food. Celebrating, some of the incredible achievements of the club, I think it's fair to say, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt, mate. I mean, some of the people that are there.
Shout out to Martin on our team.
Yeah, 100%.
His transformation over, I don't know how long he's been there for now. I think it's been
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, but I don't know exactly. Maybe, I don't know.
No, but was it 35%? I think he's hit before he got to his BMI. So
yeah,
it was 35% of his body weight, which is that's absolutely incredible.
And when you look at him,
fucking amazing.
You don't really see. You're like you can't. You sort of a bit like, oh, has he lost that much? Like I don't know. And then you see him, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, no, he has lost so much weight.
That's the thing. Like you see some of the obviously like the BMI. I can't remember what they call it now. BMI
boss.
heroes, BMI boss. That's it. And you see some of the guys there, and I can't imagine them being like bigger lads.
No,
like some of them, they wasn't huge or anything to begin with, or any stretch the imagination. But to hit BMI, then stick to it consistently. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But like with Martin, I didn't believe the before picture was him.
Yeah, it's incredible.
He's done so well, and hopefully in a year or two that'll be me up there.
I think it will be, mate. I can really see it. I genuinely can see it. I think the only thing that's between you and doing that is your head.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's fine. We're getting there. We're in a better place. We move. Ups and downs. It's been a turbulent 2025. But yeah, Sunday, and then got the honour of seeing my best mate announce he's having a boy.
Yeah. Cheers, bro.
So when you're teaching football, I will be there so I can be taught how to play football as well. And Jack can teach me how to play in goal properly. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, mate, did you see when you all came in as well? Jack was obviously buzzing. Like, did you see his face? He was so happy, mate.
Oh, good.
And he came in, and obviously I had Maisie, and I went, "You all right?" And he just looked at me, gave me a massive hug. He's like, "I'm so happy." I was like, "Oh, Jack."
Oh, did he?
It was so sweet.
Oh,
so sweet. Like, he proper grabbed me and everything. I was like, "Oh, mate, I'm so happy for you." So you can teach me how to play football. He just went, "Yeah." I was like, "Can I come?" He went, "Yeah."
Oh, man.
So, honestly, I'm so happy for you, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm so happy.
That's got me a little bit because I'm worried. I'm worried about him. And
he was buzzing off his
nut. Oh, good.
Yeah. You can see he was just like... I probably would liken it to when I met Ramesh on Friday. I don't know if I told you about it.
You might have mentioned it once or twice.
I'll put the photos up, guys. I'll put the photos up.
Please do. We'll share them.
So yeah, that's. I think that's enough about our weekends because we obviously want to get this done. I know it's quite early doors. So there's some news topics we wanted to discuss. I think
there is, mate. Yeah. So we haven't
mental one. It's fair to say
we haven't actually caught up for quite a while. I think it must be about 3 weeks since we last did a pod like this. We've had a couple of specials out in the interim. We've had international breaks. We've had all sorts of stuff. So it's
it has been a while, hasn't it?
So yeah, crazy times. But going back, I don't know if you remember Steve Bruce. I just think it's absolutely funny what happened. So Dwight Gale has come out and had a bit of a go at Steve Bruce and his coaching skills and all of that and that sort of stuff. That's why he felt like at Newcastle it didn't quite work out that well, and sort of told a few stories. And then Steve Bruce out of nowhere, whoever thought there would be Steve Bruce against Dwight Gale in 2025? Has come out and said, "Oh yeah, no, Dwight Gale, that really famous, excellent footballer who's done so much in his career, is criticising my tactics." And you're just like, "Wow,
yeah,
shots fired."
Can I just say quickly, Steve Bruce against Dwight Gale 2025 sounds like the worst Misfits boxing ever.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it happening now. I can see it happening.
KSI, if you're listening, set it up, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, that guy, what KSI is, how has he got to be where he is when, you see one side of him and you think, oh, what a nice guy. And then you see the shit that he pulled with, Wayne Bridge and stuff, and you think, are you a nice guy or are you just a bit of a bellend?
Because he's
done that a few times, hasn't he? Yeah, it's weird.
But obviously, I mean, he started from the streaming days, and I think he's just capitalised on a bit of popularity. And fair play to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you can't. You're always going to piss someone off, and someone's always going to take it the wrong way when you are that famous. We get it ourselves. On TikTok, We get absolutely abused at times, and it's the price we pay for being famous.
It's yeah. Actually, was it Romesh who approached you and went, "Oh my God, are you Ben from the FFP?"
Look, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to embarrass him on the podcast, but yeah. He invited me onto to the show, and I'm hopefully going to be on League of Their Own next season. But yeah, I didn't want to say that out loud.
No, that's great. No, buzzing for you.
Hopefully do a road trip, do a leg of the road trip or something.
Yeah, no, great, yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So yeah, Steve Bruce. That's such a random one, though, isn't it?
Random one. I've got another random one for you.
Oh, go on.
So, did you hear the story of Barry Town United Football Club? So their captain Evan Press has been jailed for 2.5 years for drug dealing.
Sorry.
What a crazy story!
Wow.
Kind of semi-pro amateur type football team has lost their vice captain because he's been selling drugs. Like they I think the manager came out and said, like, I just wasn't actually expecting this. But what a problem to have! Like, you think, right, we're set up ready for the season. We've got all of our players. They sort of joined up. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Everything's going okay, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they lose a player for drug dealing.
Being a dealer.
What the fuck?
That's mental, isn't it?
Absolutely crazy.
That's crazy.
Now, I've also got a couple of questions for you, Ben.
Okay, go on.
So I saw this thing, right, on social media, and I wanted to put it to you, because it could just be that it's a Kent thing. We're Kent boys. It could be that it's a Kent thing. But you're kind of Kentish, but also you did have a little spell in London, didn't you? So I wasn't sure whether you knew it as something different or whether you've heard different things. So when you're with your mates, right, there's normally one person in goal, and you think, who the fuck wants to be a goalkeeper? You and Jack. But you've got.
I was going to say, you're literally digging your son out here.
Yeah, you've got one person in goal, and then you've got other people either in pairs or singular, and they're trying to score past you to go through into it. Like, go through, they stand at the side, wait for the other people to score, and then you kind of have a final or a semi-final, whatever it is. What is that game called?
Wembley,
yeah. Wembley knockout, something like that.
Yeah, Wait. Wembley knockout, yeah. But normally, it depends what version. Because if you're doing, like, Wembley knockout is obviously like, you score a goal, you're on the side until everyone else has scored. And a team gets knocked out, naturally. Yeah. But Wembley, you'd just be like first to 3 wins or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So, bang on. So it must be a Kentish thing, because when I was looking through some of the answers, Wembley was one of the ones that was like the least popular.
Really?
It's either called Cuppy or Weldy.
What?
Mental, isn't it? I know. It's Wembley.
It's fucking Wembley.
It's Wembley or Wembley knockout.
Yeah. Cuppy? Who the fuck calls it Cuppy?
Mate, there's so many. So if you are listening, please do let us know what you call this game, whether it's Wembley, Cuppy, Worldy, something else that is completely insane. Wow. But yeah, it's always been known as Wembley knockout. And it's a bit like Knockdown Ginger. People know it's like Ding Door Ditch and...
Like, yeah, I've heard that. I'm like, no, it's not
other ginger stuff. You're like, what? No, it's Knockdown Ginger. I don't know why it's Knockdown Ginger, but it is Knockdown Ginger.
It is, yeah.
And other people call it random stuff. Leroy Lita knows exactly what I'm talking about because he was caught doing it recently.
He was. That honestly was a brilliant story. That is a fantastic story, that one as well.
Soon to be friend of the pod, Leroy Lita, should I say?
Yes, well, hopefully Jack's working his magic. So we're going to have, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have Leroy Lita finally join the show. Henry Lansbury might come on and actually reply to my message. Aaron McLean might reply to my message, although he did get injured, didn't he, the other day? Aaron McLean.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So, hopefully we'll have some good people on the show.
Yes, so please email in footballdroppodcast@hotmail.com.
Boom, got it.
Yes.
He knows. He knows.
And I've got another question for you. So footballdroppodcast@hotmail.com. What's worse at the moment? What is worse, supporting Tottenham or supporting Man United?
Tottenham.
because I heard somebody the other day say, "Oh, it's not quite as bad. I support United," to a Tottenham supporter, and I thought, is that worse? What is worse? So take your
I,
Arsenal bias away. What's worse?
I probably would still say Spurs because United have always got that history.
Yeah, no, I get that,
It's
but
difficult at the moment,
take the
but
history away. Yeah, of course. It it it. It's, if you're going to
that's
support somebody at
tough.
United and Tottenham, you're going to support United because of the history, and you would want to grow up in those successful years. As
Yeah,
as Arsenal fans, we used to look over at United and be like, "I fucking hate United so much because they are so good and they win everything all the time." But take that away, right now, what's worse? Because you could argue that United have got all of that history and now they're shit. So actually, that's worse because you're like, we're used to winning. Whereas at least with Tottenham, you're used to losing.
yeah, but
Not losing, that's harsh.
I still think a Tottenham fan because they've got this lovely stadium now. It's it's an icon, blah blah blah. They make lots of money, but they're almost like promised everything. They're still not delivering. Whereas United are kind of at that point of look, we know we. Oh, sorry, my mic muted itself then. We know that we've been lacking behind for a while, but they've got plans in motion to get them back up to the top now. I think it is a bit of a project. It feels like what we were like, sort of 10 years ago, really. Of like, we're at the end of our cycle. It's going to take a while to build things up again. We're going to make some mistakes along the way. But I think they're going to get this, incredibly, modern stadium, regeneration all around Old Trafford. Yeah, it's painful, but I still think it's still worse to be a Spurs fan. Because I think they've been promised all of this and they just know it's not going to happen because of Levy.
Yeah, there was demonstrations actually at the weekend, weren't there, with Levy out. No, I think for me, I agree. I think when just to put it the kind of shoe on the other foot of looking at Man United, they've got Ruben Amorim, who's just come in, seems to be quite a young, promising manager. They've got money probably to spend in the summer, whereas Tottenham fans must be thinking, who's going to be in charge? What's going on? Man United seem to have a bit of a plan going forward. They've just had Ratcliffe announce they've got a new stadium that looks a little bit like a circus tent, but it does look quite nice. That's gonna be coming out. So they've got all of these things to look forward to. So I think it's probably unfair to say what's worse, but yeah, I certainly think United probably would be the ones who are more favourable at the moment, let's say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
okay, but yeah, put your thoughts in. So should we go over to some kind of proper football news?
Go on.
Trent Alexander-Arnold is on his way to Real Madrid if everything that you read in the newspapers and online and everything is to be believed.
Yeah. I don't know what Liverpool fans think, really, but so you've got him, Van Dijk and Salah all at the end of their contract, the end of the season. I think we spoke about it before, but who would you rather lose out of those three?
I actually think, for me, it would be Trent, but I think you can't underestimate how good Salah has been, only on a potential moving forward because of his age, what he can do, the way he can pass that ball is second to none. But you've got to think, who can replace Van Dijk?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so difficult because I think Salah, you can't replace Salah. You just have to change the way you play up front. You can't replace him realistically. I think Van Dijk, you can't replace that aura or anything like that about him. But I think, again, you sort of play a slightly different way and you have a slightly different system to compensate for him going. And I think, arguably, with Trent, you probably could. But Trent would be the one that I would want to keep out of three. more
Yeah,
than anything.
exactly. Yeah, you want to keep all three if you can.
Oh, yeah, of course, naturally.
But I think Trent for me has got the he's got that future in him, and also even if he said I really want to go, you should be able to get some money for him. He's got that English tax on him that seems to be the way with English footballers. But apparently they're going to lose him for free, and it does sort of on the other side of things, Real Madrid were famous for spending millions of pounds to build Galacticos. Now they're just like, well, no, we'll just wait for their contracts to end and then we'll just get them for free. And you're like, that makes so much more sense.
It does. And the thing is, almost every other club that have these players don't seem to cotton onto that yet.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, he's out of contract. I don't know what. No, we're going to sign him. Real Madrid is sitting there just going, like that little meme, that guy behind the tree, just like, yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Killian, come on for free. Trent, come on for free. Like two of the best players in those positions in the world at the moment.
There is more to it than that. I mean, they're not,
of course,
free because obviously they pay huge signing on fees and stuff. And obviously the wages are significantly higher. But they're not paying a club; they're paying them.
Yeah.
So the player's more than happy than anything because it's in their pocket.
Well, that, and also that means that Liverpool haven't got that money. Especially with the PSR rules, they haven't got that money to go out and now spend on a new right
90 million that they could have realistically got, maybe even 100 million.
Yeah.
If he had a few years on his contract or something.
And you don't know what Slot's got in mind for Trent. It could be that he's the new central midfielder.
Could well be, yeah. Yeah, could well be. I think it's a big blow for Liverpool for sure. But I have seen, I don't know if you saw it the other day in some random article, Salah was spotted on a boat down in Merseyside somewhere, doing some filming in his Liverpool shirt.
Oh, really?
So they're thinking maybe this is an announcement that he's staying and things like that. They're building it up for like the end of the season or whatever.
It would make sense.
Could be interesting.
He's had a perfect season almost.
Yeah.
Up till sort of recently, Liverpool have had the perfect season, which is interesting, isn't it? How that drop off has happened for Liverpool. I don't know what you think about that. Whether that's got any sort of relation, because obviously they lost in the Carabao final to Newcastle. They got knocked out of the Champions League by PSG. Lost at the weekend 3-2 yesterday against Fulham. Obviously they. I think they were probably the better team against Everton midweek because we've got those games as well. But
of course, I forgot those. Yeah, I think with hindsight, it's kind of inevitable that they'll have a stumble at some point. I think it's just because they've been performing just incredibly all season. Every team has a couple of losses and a bit of a bad run. It's a natural thing that happens. But I think because it's all happened quite late on, and all together in such a short space of time, it looks a lot worse than what it is.
Yeah.
They've lost they've lost four or five games, I think, in every competition all season. That's not a bad season, is it?
Oh, definitely. No,
they're walking the league still. They're not under threat of losing the league in any way, shape or form. So,
no.
And it's Arne Slot's first season and he's walking away with the Premier League.
Yeah.
What more could you want? Taking over from Jurgen Klopp, and then you've got to put it all into perspective.
He's the only manager, isn't he, that's taken out, not the only manager, but the only manager I can think of in Premier League history, sort of since 1992 that started, who's taken over from a long-serving manager who's been successful and just kept that bounce going. Nobody else has managed to do that. So I think, fair play to him. I think you're right in what you're saying, which is weird because we don't often agree.
Not often, famously. But no, I think it's going to be a testing summer for them because I think they have been quite fortunate that a lot of other teams have not really been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's been a poor Premier League season from that sense. But you've had the emergence of like Nottingham Forest, Villa, Bournemouth, those sorts of clubs who have managed to climb up the tree, which has been nice.
It's been great. I think that coincides with other teams not being as good as they are sort of familiar with.
Definitely.
Arsenal, we've been stuttering all season. City have fallen off from a significant height. Chelsea is still very much hot and gold. United and Tottenham have been dire
to get
all
into
season.
the top half of the table, which is unreal.
Exactly. I mean, we knew United would struggle, but not to this point. And Spurs. I mean, I didn't see Spurs dropping like they have.
No,
and that's because a lot of that is because Ange's not changing his tactics at all. He's too stubborn. Yeah. He's clearly only got one way of playing, and he doesn't know anything different.
Which you've got to give credit to sort of Amorim a little bit, actually, in that sense that he has gone, I want to play this way, but I understand we're not there yet, so I'm going to change it slightly. Not completely, but I'm going to change it slightly.
Now, yeah.
So you've got to give him some credit for that, whereas Ange, he hasn't done that. And actually with City, De Bruyne's just announced that he's going to leave, isn't he, at the end of the season, which could be a huge blow for them, although he hasn't put it, since he's been injured, he hasn't really put in much of a shift this season. It's not been
probably last
De Bruyne
season
numbers.
As well.
Yeah, maybe towards the end. Yeah,
and I think with City as well, because Foden's been completely off form as well. They've felt that a lot more.
Did you hear what the United fans were chanting? Chanting. I know, weird. Chanting at the weekend.
No, what'd they say?
They were having a go at, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think they were calling like De Bruyne's mum a slag or something like that.
What?
It was so weird. Honestly, yeah. Talking of like pathetic.
What a random one.
The whole crowd, as soon as he was being subbed off, the whole crowd shouting at him that his mum's a slag. I'm like, fucking hell. Is that Ben? Has Ben started this?
That's such a weird one. Yeah, I got back to yours really quickly for the match.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's just so... It's so strange. I just think I feel like we've said this like every season on the pod towards the end of the season. It's going to be an interesting summer.
Yeah,
but I do genuinely think it is because City, Pep will obviously rebuild it and things. That Savinho, I think, has been good, but he's not been great. He can't finish. Really good at creating stuff, but he's just not. He's very raw still. They shouldn't have sold Alvarez. That Marmoush looks incredible.
Marmoush looks good, yeah.
He looks like an absolute great signing for them. And it's a good alternative for Haaland. Mm-hmm. Got that different way of playing. Obviously, Haaland being injured as well is going to mess them up for a while. But I think a lot of the other teams, there's a lot to do. But as you said, I don't want to discredit Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, who are all having really good seasons.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It may be highlighted a little bit more because everyone else has not been great, but that's not to detract from they're putting in a shift and getting the results.
Yeah, completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Should we do just a little quick roundup of the action over the sort of last week or so? Because you've had midweek games and then weekend games.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just thinking we obviously have had breaking kind of unexpected news that no one really thought was actually going to happen. But Southampton have been relegated, which I think surprised everybody on this.
Yeah. The earliest any team have ever been relegated in the Premier League season. 7 games to go. 7 games to go.
They still need 2 points to get above Derby of being the worst team in the Premier League ever from the 07-08 season. Derby County did that. I think Southampton, looking at their fixtures, they've still got like Arsenal, Liverpool, No, they played Tottenham, didn't they, yesterday? But yeah, I think they've got Chelsea. Like honestly, I can't see them getting another point.
No, I do think they're really going to struggle. I really think they're going to struggle. And I just wonder how many of their players will be picked up in the summer.
Well,
Ramsdale, Dibbling.
Well, they've just put £100 million on Dibbling.
That's ridiculous. No one's going to sign him. He's not worth £100 million. No one's going to sign him for £100 million.
He looks good, but he's not proven himself to be a £100 million player. Not at all. But yeah, I think there could be an exodus from the team. But then, who else? Who would really want a player from Southampton? Other than Ramsdale or Dibbling, who else? You think they're not. They've not got the Premier League pedigree, the quality that is needed. I don't think.
No, they don't. I think similar with Leicester and Ipswich. Really, there's a few players that you probably take from each team, but not many.
Yeah,
there's a couple that stand out, but yeah, they.
Well,
yeah,
I think
just wouldn't be great.
I think that sticking with Leicester and Ipswich, I think Delap should come to Arsenal. But they, other than that,
be a good sign-in.
It looks like they're both down. I think we've thought that for a while now, spoken about it for a while now. But I think, Wolves coming back to beat Ipswich 2-1 over the weekend, despite Ipswich beating Bournemouth during the week. But Wolves beat West Ham. Very good result. Brilliant result, especially away from home. But Wolves beat West Ham that the day before, and then obviously they faced each other, and Wolves just pulled away. It looks like they're going to be safe. I can't see anything other than them, and it could be that those three are relegated on the least amount of points collectively.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're like 19 points off, so it could be that they're the worst three teams to go down.
Wow. Yeah, it's just been a bit of a boring season, really.
In that sense, yeah, I do agree. But then you've got like the Villa Forest game from Saturday afternoon evening, which was absolutely incredible. Where Forest could have won 3-2, Aston Villa could have won 6-0. Like it could have been such a different result. Obviously, it finished 2-1 Villa, but yeah, absolutely crazy. And then like the emergence of Fulham, obviously losing to Arsenal midweek, and I thought that they were quite unlucky with that. A deflected goal from Marino, and then they were quite unlucky with Munoz missing quite a clear header before he got they got that sort of consolation goal, and then to go and beat Liverpool 3-2. You think what a season Fulham are having. Silva's doing brilliantly, I think there.
Yeah, I think he is, and I think he could be lined up for something in the summer.
Oh, do you?
I could see a Spurs move happening there.
Okay. Good shout.
He'd potentially have more money to spend. He's not a massive ego. He does what he needs to do.
Just quietly gets on with it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't. There's no drama around him.
Yeah.
He's not like a knobhead on the touchline or anything like that. He just, he has the occasional outburst, but I think every manager does.
Definitely.
But he just, she said he just quietly does his job and does a good job.
No, I completely agree. That I think.
But why would you move at the moment? He's got a good thing going there.
Why would you go to? What are they 16th? I think Tottenham at the minute. They might have gone up actually since they won it. Where are they in the table? Hang on.
They're 14th now.
14th they've moved up to, yeah. But why would you go to 14th place Tottenham when you can be at 8th place Fulham?
They're 11 points behind Fulham, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. City obviously couldn't capitalise yesterday against United. Boring 0-0 draw.
Some good chances, though.
Yeah.
There were a couple of good chances in the game. Xerxes arguably should have done better. Ederson made it look quite a simple save.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought it was I thought it was a ball draw, but yeah, I guess there were a few opportunities there.
I think it was Gary Neville was saying after the game that both teams will be pretty happy with that. Like they don't think anyone will come off being sad. I thought that's a real low point for me. It's a Manchester derby. And bear in mind where the teams have been at recently and historically or whatever, you'd be fuming if you got a draw, wouldn't you? Unless you're going to win the league against your bitter rivals, then I can understand with the draw.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, I do. I kind of see what he's saying. City have not been creating much recently, so to go and get a draw, maybe. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Yeah, strange.
Interesting. Yeah, very strange.
The only thing that I did have really that I was a bit aggrieved about was the penalty decision to award Everton a penalty against Arsenal. It was
shit decision again.
Ludicrous, and obviously we're being Arsenal fans, we're going to say that, but the foul, if there was a foul from Lewis Skelly on, I can't remember who it was on now. Was it on Ndoye? Can't remember.
No, he took the pen, didn't he? I don't know who.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
right.
remember who it was.
No, I can't remember who it was. But the foul started outside the box. So when it was on Harrison.
That's it. Yeah.
So when he got into the box, the foul was then almost on Lewis Skelly for pushing him down.
Yeah.
So it was barely a foul, never a penalty, and I think Arsenal have been absolutely robbed there. But these things happen. VAR is not what VAR should be, and we know that. And this is where this debate comes in. It's absolutely terrible. There was talks that the same VAR was the same VAR who gave Lewis Skelly the red card against Wolves when Michael Oliver said, "I'm going to send you off." Yeah, same VAR apparently. So there's conspiracies out there. If you listen to the Mark Clattenburg interview, I can't remember where it was on. Was it on the Overlap? Or was it
Overlap, yeah.
Yeah, Overlap. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And it was really interesting hearing him say, there's always clubs that think they've got an agenda against them. There's no agenda. People don't care that much about who it is, unless obviously, he's refereeing Sunderland or a Newcastle game. Being a big Newcastle fan, he's not going to do that. So that was quite a nice insight, but it does feel for certain clubs that there is like a bit of an agenda, and it's decisions like that kind of make you think.
Yeah, it convinces you, doesn't it? But another thing about that sort of interview is I didn't realise this. The referees have to disclose who they support.
Yeah.
So they are nowhere near those games, and they try not to put them in a game that can influence their rival or their own team and things as well, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, if you support an Arsenal and you're refereeing the Prem, for example, sometimes a game's going to affect it. If you're doing a City Liverpool game or something, you might want to send off 8 players. It'd be good fun because both of them are playing Arsenal in the next 3 games. Fantastic. Yeah. So obviously, necessarily, it won't always happen that way, of course. But that was quite interesting. I thought, okay, that they are trying to remove any chance of that happening, which I suppose, in hindsight, thinking about it, they probably should do that anyway. You'd expect that to happen. But it's nice that they've kind of brought that to the forefront.
Yeah, I think they've done that for a while now. I don't think that's kind of like a newish thing, but yeah, it is.
It's just knowing about it.
Yeah. It's obviously needed, and it's fascinating. I mean, go and listen to that after this. Keep listening to this till the end, but after this, go listen to that if you haven't already. Was there any other games that you wanted to kind of touch on?
Just the Palace Brighton one. So not that I watched it, but 3 red cards in the game.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
It's just insane, isn't it? I still don't understand this rivalry, but apparently they're like bitter rivals. But Palace got one up on them.
Yeah, well, the rivalry started with, I can't remember who it was. There was 2 managers. The 2 managers had a disagreement back in like the 70s, I think it was. I can't remember the story now because I did read up about it because I was interested. And then it kind of developed from there, and they've just started to hate each other kind of since. I think that was it. They had to play each other 3 times in a row because back then when you had cup replays, you wouldn't go to extra time and penalties. You'd have a replay. So I think they had to play like each other 3 times in the course of like 2 weeks or something like that. And that's where this rivalry started. And then since then, it kind of built up. But they didn't really play each other that much. But then there was that hatred from that time. Now they're playing each other a lot more. The hatred's just built and built and built. And for some reason, this is now the M23 derby or something like that, which is crazy. But there were some really bad challenges. I thought the Nketiah one was unlucky because it did look like he didn't. It's one of those things where he did probably get tripped, and because he's sort of fallen in style, it's been given as sort of simulation. He's been given the first yellow card for that, so it feels unfair for him to do that, to get that. Sorry, but Gray and Van Hecke, you can't really argue about those sort of yellow cards. Fiery clash. I tell you what, Munoz, he's really impressive. I think he's very good. And Palace are on a form. I think for the last 6 games, Palace would be like second in the Premier League or something like that with the form that they're in at the minute.
if I remember right, they did this last season as well, didn't they? When Glasner came in February, March time, and they just went on this like incredible run. And they have got a small squad. I appreciate that. So you do get tired at times, but they seem to do the opposite. Like, they're tired for the first 4 or 5 months of the season, and then the rest of it, they're like, "Oh, lads, we're well fit now. Let's just go." And they can play twice a week, no problem.
And losing Elise in the summer, I thought they might lose Eza as well, but they didn't. They managed to keep hold of Eza. They managed to keep hold of Mateta, who have been absolutely fantastic. Sorry.
And they kept Gray as well, which was huge because obviously Newcastle were bidding like every other day, weren't they?
Yeah. And Sarr is Sarr, isn't it? Who they've got has come through as well. And he's doing really well. And Nketiah's not really hit the heights that you probably hoped that he would, being a former Gooner.
Hopes, not thought. I think is the right words there on that one. Yeah.
I think that they're playing. That sort of 3-4-3 formation that they're playing. It's not really working elsewhere, but he's Glasner's got it going really well there. So I think, fantastic. Well done.
It seems to work for them. I think when managers are sort of changing their systems, and I think Ruben Amorim is a perfect example of it. You need the players for it that have played in those positions, or players that are quite raw that can adapt to different things.
Yeah.
Look at for us, like Saka was left back.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like, no, you would never have thought, no, actually, put him at right wing. Like that, it shouldn't work. That sort of transition shouldn't work. But he was used to it. He was young enough to be able to play in those different positions, and he had that kind of mindset. But Palace have quite often played with a 3 or a 5. So a lot of their players are kind of familiar with it. So it's worked quite easy. That transition seems more natural.
Yeah.
Whereas United have never done that, ever, from what I remember. So it's very difficult to do that. The only person that's done it, arguably, is Harry Maguire. But he plays in the middle of defence, so it doesn't actually affect his game anyway.
Well, he was up front the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah, and you know what? I saw a weird stat about it. He's got more XG in that cameo up front than Højlund has in his last 15 games.
Yeah. He nearly scored.
It's line. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So that's how they get it.
Yeah. Anything else to add, mate, before we shoot?
No, nothing from me, except have a good week.
Yeah, you too, mate. And
lots of exercise this week. Looking forward to it.
You've got this, mate. If you've got any hints, tips for us, if you've got anything you want to add, anything you want to say, footballdroppodcast@hotmail.com. Follow us on socials, and we'll see you next week.
See you later. Bye-bye for now.